Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And I am doing a what I've been watching for this last week, covering some movies and a TV show, in fact, that I kind of just finished not too long ago. So see what my thoughts here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on a Friday night. Kind of getting late night here for me. Yeah, I've been, of course, wanting to do this every week, covering stuff that I've been watching, because I usually am watching something during the week, a couple items, or at least, if not many, and want to cover some of the major things I've seen and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on them. Covering this time, I thought I'd cover 3 movies I saw this last week, and also want to talk about a TV show that ended maybe a week or so ago. First, I'm going to start off with a movie. This is a classic called The Day the Earth Stood Still from 1951. I actually caught this on YouTube, the movie, their movie, whatever. They show free movies on YouTube that you can find. Anyway, so this is one I've, of course, heard about. Like I said, it's kind of a sci-fi classic. And they even remade it with Keanu Reeves later on. That I haven't seen that one either. But so it was one of those where I was like, well, it seems like a classic sci-fi that I should probably watch just to say, hey, I've seen one of these, old classics. So I viewed it on YouTube anyways. If you don't know, if Day of the Still, of course, the UFO lands. And that's the day they're still, I guess, because everybody kind of stopped what they're doing. Because, hey, there's an alien and UFO now, and so what's going on? It's huge news, obviously. And there's a alien who's really just a human being, of course, playing an alien, but he just looks like a man named Klaatu, I believe, or something, Klaatu. Anyway, he comes out and he wants to talk to everybody, or representatives from everybody on Earth, because he has a special message. And so they're trying to get all these different countries together because he wants to have this message with them. He kind of gets incarcerated, so he gets out. He's walking amongst the humans and kind of goes to his boarding house and kind of befriends people there and kind of observing human behavior a little bit, I guess you can say. Anyways, so overall, the movie, at first I was kind of interested in it because I like the idea of this alien kind of observing humans and the way you react and, how that's different maybe. But after a while, my overall thoughts was the whole plot to me was kind of stupid. I didn't really care for it that much. And yeah, it gets a little boring there towards the end. It kind of drags a little bit, as most old movies kind of do a lot of times. There's a couple funny things about it, though. I think one funny thing I found about it is he goes to this boarding house and he makes up a name. He doesn't want to tell him I'm the alien that everybody's looking for, Klaatu, whatever. And so he makes up this human name, and he just looks like a human being anyways. He doesn't look like an alien, so he just walks amongst everybody. And he goes to his boarding house, and there's this couple, and they have to go out. And he just meets them, I think, for the first time. They haven't known each other very long, of course. And they have a son, and they're like, oh, we want to go out. But it's like, oh, who's going to watch our son? And this guy's like, oh, I'll watch your son for you while you go out. And this stranger that they just met. And they're like, oh, will you? Wow, that's so nice of you. And I was watching what? Like a stranger's like, hey, I'll watch your son for you, your little son. And, my thought was get away, you creepo. I'm not letting some stranger watch my kid who I don't know very well. But no, maybe this is because it's the 1950s and they weren't afraid of kidnappings and other bad stuff like we do today. But it just caught me a little funny that they're like, yeah, we're going to let the stranger look after our son while we go out. Whatever. But the real problem I have with the movie is he wants to get everybody together to give this message. And I think, and you kind of see that he has this message of, peace, or kind of he wants everybody to stop fighting. Of course, this has happened during the Cold War era, so there's a lot of tension wrapped up around Russia and the United States, and of course now we have the atomic bomb, so that's a big deal. And so he goes into this whole thing about, I think basically you guys are, you got the atomic bomb, you're causing a lot of destruction, and we've been observing you, us aliens have been observing you and watching, keeping tabs on what you're doing. and we don't like the direction you're going or whatever. And so it's like, you better stop fighting or we're going to come destroy your planet. And that basically seemed like the message, unless I missed something. And I was like, wait a minute. You're coming to criticize us of violence by threatening us with violence. I mean, you're threatening to kill everybody on Earth if we don't, stop killing each other or whatever. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. It seems like that's the wrong way to go about it. If you want peace, you don't say, you better have peace or I'm going to kill you. It's like, okay, you're the violent, unpeaceful person. Like, you're the problem, not us. I mean, you're going to kill a billion people or whatever on planet Earth. So to me, it was just really stupid plot line. And it kind of way that ends, it doesn't really have a really good climatic ending in my sense. I guess he gets on his spaceship and leaves, and who knows. But anyway, so I don't know. I wasn't keen on it personally, but that's the day the Earth stood still. Another movie I want to touch on briefly, because I don't know how much I can say. I've been trying to catch up with Stanley Kubrick movies, because Jacob Martin, he's going through all the Kubrick movies, and I did a live stream with him on his channel talking about Dr. Strangelove, my favorite Kubrick movie. Anyways, and so he's been going through them. He's in the 60s now, so he's kind of getting actually not too many more movies, it seems like. And he only made 12 movies in total, Stanley Kubrick. Overall, I'm not a big fan of Stanley Kubrick. I think he made some really weird out there movies and some really boring ones in there, and just some very sexually weird, explicit movies. Anyways, one of the movies I hadn't watched yet was Eyes Wide Shut, which is on Netflix. So I thought, well, I never really wanted to watch that movie, but I was like, I'll watch it just so I can keep up with Jacob Martin. And so when Jacob Martin does his countdown of his favorite, or when he ranks all of his Kubrick movies, I can kind of rank them along with them, kind of thing. Anyway, he doesn't have very many movies, so it's not hard to get to them all. Anyway, so I caught Eyes Wide Shut on Netflix, which came out in 1999. I remember when the movie came out, it was very controversial at the time. Of course, it's known as Stanley Kubrick's last movie. He died, I think, heart problems right at the end, right after he kind of finished the shooting of it, and never got to see kind of the full or anything about it. But of course, Stanley Kubrick was a big name, so at the time it was like a big deal of Stanley Kubrick making another movie, because he hadn't made one in a long time. But it was very controversial. If you don't know the movie, it stars Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman, who were married at the time. And of course, they get divorced not too long after this movie, which seems to happen a lot to couples. You make a movie together, it doesn't work out, and you get divorced. Seems fairly common now. But anyways, or break up or whatever the case is. And so, at the time, I remember this movie coming out when I was like a freshman in high school. And of course, it was very sexually explicit, nude scenes, sex scenes, that it was almost like bordering on rated X, or NC-17. I mean, it's a rated R movie, but it definitely pushes the lines of even rated R movies can go. And so I remember coming out and being like, well, I'm never watching that movie. So now I sat down and kind of watched it, though I have to admit I fast forwarded through quite a bit of scenes, because I did not want to sit there and watch some of those scenes that were going on, because they were quite explicit, like I remember hearing. And there's always, the only thing I knew about was there's some scene where he goes to some orgy party, and he's wearing really nice tux, and he's got a mask on, and that's the only thing I knew about the movie, of course. And yeah, watching it, I remember I was watching it, so it's a pretty long movie, and you're watching it, and it's like, okay, is anything going to happen in this movie? Is this going anywhere? And then that scene happens where he goes to this secret society, and there's this really weird sexual stuff going on, and he's kind of, I don't know what he's doing there exactly, or what his purpose is. Is he going to cheat on his wife? It's all about marriage. It seemed the movie is about marriage and infidelity, I guess, but I don't think it's as deep as people think it is. People are like, oh, it's a very deep movie about marriage or something. And I'm like, I'm married, and I don't know, none of this represents anything I've been a part of in my life. And I don't know, just seeing, that doesn't feel like this is reality. It doesn't feel like I mean, I know there's probably sex parties that happen, but I just don't know about them. But yeah, to me, it's just this is not a part of my world. This is not a reality. It just didn't seem like it was a real thing. I don't know. And so you're watching it, and then you're thinking, okay, and it's weird because he's uninvited. It comes to this secret society party where they have these orgies or whatever, but it's very fancy. Like they dress up, and I'm thinking, man, who wants to dress up and go to an orgy? Like I don't. If I want to go to an orgy, I wouldn't get all dressed up, and I don't know. Just seems too much to me. That's just my opinion. But either way, it's like I don't know. It's just it doesn't make sense to me. And but anyway, so they find out that he's like not invited, and then they kind of like this weird like he's in danger now because the secret society like doesn't want him to go out and tell people about it, I guess, or something. I don't know. But it's like, who are these people? I never said, who are these people? What are they doing? Why are they there? Are they just rich, powerful politician people or something that that go way out of their way to put on these parties? Like, I mean, man, way out of the way. Um, and so then there seems, but at time I'm like, oh, okay, maybe there's some danger. Maybe maybe it's going to turn to a murder thriller type movie. And that scene ends, and then that's the last you ever see of that kind of scenes. And he goes on, and he's trying to kind of figure out, what the society was, I think, afterwards. And it's definitely some ideas that maybe he's in danger. Still, the movie didn't feel like it goes anywhere. Like, I'm still like, okay, maybe this movie's going somewhere. And I'm like, okay, it didn't go anywhere. Anyways, and it just seemed so pointless of a movie. And I say that all the time, but definitely this is a very, very pointless movie. And we get to the end, and it's like, okay, that happened. They're still, and they have kids, and it's like, and they keep flirting with other people. And it's like, I don't know how good this marriage is, because it seems like they're almost going to jump in bed with just about anybody, but they never do, but it almost feels like they're on the cusp of doing so. And so it's like, I don't know what's going on with this marriage or this. And like, they seem happy at times, at other times they're weirdly not. I don't know. And so then you get to the end, and it's just like, oh, they're just going to stick it out, and they're still married, I guess. And we're just going to forget about this whole sex party thing that he went to, and there's some murder going on. And I don't know. And then it just ends. And I remember just like at the end, just sitting there going, what did I just watch? Like, I have no idea what this movie was about, what the point was. What was the point? I don't know. It just felt like it was weird. Like, why was this movie made? How come somebody was okay with this being made? I mean, why didn't somebody say, this is a stupid movie, it's boring, it's pointless, let's just not waste people's time? But they made it. I think some people think it's a masterpiece. I thought it was horrible, just an absolutely horrible film all the way through. I give the lowest rating I can possibly give it, which is a half star. Is like the lowest I give on Letterboxd. So it's a half star movie. It's just one of the worst. Anyways, that's Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know if I have time to cover some of the other stuff. I didn't mean to talk so much about that one. I did want to talk about a movie I just watched today, actually just before the stream. Came out today, in fact, on Roku channel, and that is Weird, the Al Yankovic story, or Al Yankovic movie, something like that. Anyways, this is, if you've been following along, I mean, this is a movie that's a music biopic of Weird Al Yankovic, but not really. If you've ever seen the trailer, it's kind of what the movie is. It's kind of more of a spoof on music biopics, which I thought was absolutely brilliant idea, because I've watched a fair amount of music biopics, and they do obviously have the same kind of routine. Kid has a dream of being a musician, and the parents tell him no, and they and his dad is like really mean. So it follows all those tropes of real music biopics. Like, doesn't get along with the father doesn't believe in him. He has to rebel against his parents, goes this, he's kind of innocent at first, and at first he's nobody, but then he gets famous, and then he comes, and then he has in this case, they have him going out with Madonna, which he really didn't in real life, but in the movie, Madonna shows up, and they're like a couple, and then he's doing, he's having, he's being a jerk, he's alcoholic, so you have to go through, he has a near-death experience. I mean, so it goes through all these like music biopics that didn't really happen to Weird Al, but it's overly dramatic. Like I said, kind of spoofing other music biopics that you get. Because there's every music biopic, it's like the father is abusive, or the mother's abusive, they have a terrible marriage, treat their kids terrible, or there's a death in the family that's, changes them, There's all these certain things, and then they go through, period where they're not famous, and then all of a sudden they become famous, and then they usually go through some drug, alcohol issues, and then they have a downfall, they don't get along with the band, and then they have to have a coming back kind of thing at the end to redeem themselves. So it follows that whole thing, but yet obviously it's a joke. It didn't happen to Weird Al, and that's what's so funny about it. It's a fictional story on Weird Al, so you don't really learn anything about Weird Al, but that's kind of the purpose. So you just kind of have to roll with it and just go, okay, this is absurd to be absurd, or ridiculous for the idea of being ridiculous. And man, I just totally loved it. Loved the whole idea behind it. Love the whole seriousness behind it is what really sells it. Because throughout the scenes, like when he's having these very serious kind of scenes where he first gets an accordion and they play this very overly dramatic music like you would see in a real biopic, but it's done very well. But it's funny because it's like, oh, it's Weird Al and who looks kind of ridiculous, you know, in his outfit, and he's, you know, looking at an accordion like it's like a guitar or something, you know, like nobody cares about an accordion, but they act like the accordion's like this really cool thing. And anyways, so it has that throughout, you know, there's all these very dramatic moments, but it's absolutely hilarious because it's obviously overly dramatic for comedic reasons. So I love the whole vibe of the movie, I guess, whole mood of the movie. Just very funny throughout. Definitely the funniest movie I've seen this year by far, I think. Give a highly strong recommendation for this movie. I think you really enjoy it. Danny Radcliffe, absolutely hilarious. He's kind of an interesting choice for Weird Al, but like I said, it's so ridiculous the way he wear. I mean, like I say Harry Potter. Danny Radcliffe is like he's in really good shape. Like he has 6-pack abs and he's pretty muscular, actually. He's in really good shape. And so there's lots of scenes of him with his shirt off, you know, on stage and stuff. And it's like, Weird Al never looked like that. Weird Al was more, you know, tall and lanky. He was never buff and 6-pack abs. So it's kind of funny when we see stuff like that because it's more like a music biopic of somebody else, not of Weird Al. But they're throwing in there to make Weird Al's story, I guess, more dramatic and interesting. Yeah, but throughout, it has so many great moments. Like I love the whole stuff with Madonna is absolutely hilarious, of course, because they never dated in real life. Weird Al's like a happily married man with kids and all this. And there's even a section where he gets involved with like the drug cartel, and he has to go and I can't spoil it, but there's like these action sequences where he's like getting in, killing people, and it's like this really well choreographed action scene. But with Radcliffe as Weird Al, and of course that's when it really goes out there. Like obviously Weird Al never killed anybody or, you know, got into the drug cartel and got into a fight with the cartels and stuff. It's just out there, but it's absolutely hilariously done, I think, and just really, really well written, I think, and made and shot throughout. So I can't say enough. It's one of my favorite movies of the year so far. And I'm a big Weird Al Yankovic fan, so it probably helps because I know his music very well. You know, I've been listening to since I was a kid, so I love this whole idea, you know, because Weird Al is all about doing song parodies, and so this like fits Weird Al so great. Doing a movie parody about music biopics kind of just fits his whole personality and everything. Of course, and he co-wrote it and he's has a part in it and everything. But yeah, I could go on and say all the great scenes of this movie and very funny ideas in it, but I just say go see it, and I think you enjoy it, in my opinion. If you like, I don't know, just like comedy or Weird Al or anything, and just see Daniel Radcliffe is so good. So if you're a fan of his, definitely check it out. Anyways, that's Weird. It's called Weird. I think the Al Yankovic story or something like that. Something to that extent, but it's on Roku streaming right now as a way to watch it. So yeah, I don't have enough time to talk about the TV show I was going to talk about. I'm going to have to do that another day all on its own, but still I covered 3 movies I saw this last week. One kind of pretty new one. So anyway, so if you've seen any of these, feel free to comment what you thought. I love to read the comments, especially about Weird, the Al Yankovic story. Definitely was a highlight for me for the week. So yeah, comment. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for liking it. And just thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you, and I hope you have a good day.